продовжуємо роботу.
We continue our work in Ukraine Crisis Media Center. Now we are talking about the 6-month-old community, how it built its life, why it has its own hydropower plant, how it spends its first investments. Good afternoon. This is Spokespersons of Communities project of UCMC. I'd like to remind you that one of the first stages of this reform is forming of capable communities. 413 amalgamated communities are in Ukraine now, and 14 are also waiting for elections, and 200 communities are expected to amalgamate, and the law comes into effect tomorrow as to the law on amalgamated communities, and we invited the community leader, Vasylkivka community in 2014 performed the first elections. How conscious of the residents' changes. This is what we will be talking about with the head of amalgamated community, Mr. Serhii Pavlichenko. Good afternoon. Your community is 6 months old. It unites 15 settlements. I heard from some sources that in our country the amalgamation is not voluntary. Who made you? Who forced you to unite? Today, the future of Ukraine is behind the amalgamated communities. Vasylkivka amalgamated community, united Dnipropetrovsk, and other communities, Radas. For example, Voskresenivka village council was incapable. It lacked funds even for salaries. Today this process continues. We report to those communities how your community considered this, calculated your capability, how you calculated your capability. First, before sending our proposals to the communities which joined us, we performed the feasibility study, and when we see the outputs that our community will be feasible, then we started the process. How budgets changed as compared to before uniting. Vasylkivka Rural Council, the budget was 16 million hryvnias. The other communities had more than 20 millions. Today we have 79 millions of budget. We have 35 millions of our own, other we receive from the state subventions and transfers. 18 settlements is rather big number. What attention your central village paid to them, central estate, how you pay attention to all other villages? We have not yet elected starostas, and these people, these officials, they will be responsible We visit communities in those villages. Only people will tell you truth. People will tell you what problems they experience in communities, and you will feel how uniting happens, how changes happen. The project on repair of school is now prepared. The school has not been repaired for 37 years. There are specific cases. Those who are afraid of unity, of amalgamation, they will not move forward. But some opponents, they say that the schools will be closed, decentralization will kill both schools and administrative services and everything. Well, there were some questions about accreditation, level of accreditation of schools. We have a base school in our community, we have affiliates. Next year, 25 millions in Vasylkivka school, 25 millions will be provided. Chemical, biological, geographical rooms, electronic microscope is available in Slavianska community, which rural children have ever seen before. We should bring more parents to schools, to amalgamated community schools, so that they see that people in these base schools, pupils, can get better education. Opponents say that 5 pupils are easier to teach than 25 pupils, but we know the quality of education when one teacher teaches 3 disciplines, the knowledge then of low quality. For community to be capable, it is not enough to have a good leader, good budget. The community itself and almost every member of community should take part in decision making, where the consciousness of members of your community are active, how they help to develop your territory. I like to say first, at this convocation of deputies in our community, they represent those radas which joined us, and the deputies are active, first of all, because they are new format deputies. There are active community members in villages. People do not remain silent, do not keep silence. People take part in decision making, and they set priorities. They said that they needed, first of all, water supply pipelines. People trust in us. We promise that decentralization and amalgamation is better, and now we should prove this concept. I have a question. It is good that the schools and the water supply pipelines are repaired, but you need also strategic vision of the development of the territory of you. Yes, we work in this direction. We take part in the project Dobre. To tell the truth, there is a person who writes projects in our community. All projects, for example, Despro, Dobre projects, investment projects. We work with investors. these days we have an idea, as you said, a mini hydropower plant. We have announced a competition and we conducted a competition, and we have an investor which intends to give us 6 million hryvnias. This HPP will provide services, which it provide electricity to all our facilities, even in case of rolling blackout. How this idea appeared to build a mini hydropower plant? It appeared several years ago. In 1950s, this mini hydropower plant was in operation at our small river, and it provided electricity for street lighting, and it provided electricity to populations, to houses. And now when we united, we understood that we need alternative sources of energy. That is why this idea was generated. Energoactiv is an enterprise from Poltava region. It won our contest, our tender, and they will renovate, restore this obsolete power plant. We will get money from shares in capital. We will get the opportunity to consume electricity in cases of rolling blackout. In the territory of our community, we have the first cooperative built, where Canadian government put in 112 million hryvnias. Our cooperators are small farmers. They have their own shares of 3 million. Practically all of them are residents of Vasylkivka. So 20 persons got jobs. They will bring this money to their families. They will pay taxes to local budget. I see Canadian funds, Ukrainian investors. So you have learned how to work with investors. Where do you get staff? Because staff matter is very sore in rural area. I have been head of rural council since 2002. We have a stable payroll. We have staff who have been working in our community for 20 years. We do not feel any lack of employees. You are right. Human resources are the main force of reforms. I am very glad that Dnipropetrovsk region has Center of Development of Local Self-Governments. This is a center where you can get any consultation. We take part in workshops, trainings, skill sharing. This is not the head of local self-government who should go to the center every time. Just experts, staff from community can go and train at this development center. And the final goal of cooperation with Dobre project, what do you plan to achieve? First of all, I'm very pleasant to say that yesterday we have a delegation from Poland who learned our community, situation in our community, economic and social status. This project is a 4-year project. Today It was a study visit, and we prepare a strategy of Vasylkivka development. We will set the prospects for future. We want to restore a brick plant. We have a good landscape. We want to develop to traveling sector, tourism, so that our young people remain in our villages. They do not flee to cities. The question of solid waste, do you have it? And how do you plan to resolve it? Yes, we have this problem. Sanitary processing is in place only in Vasylkivka, but we also want to scale up this experience to other villages in our community who joined us, and now we are going to build a new landfill for solid household waste. When people knows, we should get our people prepared to the culture of consumption, and this process should start from families, from kindergartens. When a child sees how families treat environment, what to do, for example, with a plastic bottle, empty plastic bottle. This is the question, and we control it, and I think we will resolve it along with our community. The state delegated powers to amalgamated communities in healthcare system and in education sector. What will you be doing in healthcare system?
So we have this problem. We lack specialists in education and healthcare. In Vasylkivka, we need people who want to have good salary and housing, and in this way they will stay in the village. And also the community needs to construct social housing. How we are going to resolve these issues? So primary level healthcare will be in our supervision since 2018, and in each village we need to have ambulance in 20 minutes, and we hope that you will succeed, and in a year you will present your results. What are the main obstacles for further development of local governance? I believe that there should be will and trust to people, and we should properly communicate with people that communities are our future. And some people, they just want to wait and see what will be in the future. But we believe that united communities is our future. So you and your colleagues, you implement this reform, and you should be mediators. You should communicate this reform to others. So in Vasylkivka region, we will have one more election of territorial community. It will be created in the territorial Vasylkivka region. And I met with my colleagues and I told them, once again, I repeat that amalgamated communities are our future. So in a year, we will have a meeting with you, and I believe that you will come here to us. So what will be the results? So I will come in a year and I will tell you. And we invite you to go to Vasylkivka and to see what we do. Thank you for this conversation. And today we were speaking with chairman of the Vasylkivka United Territorial Community of Dnipropetrovsk region, Serhii Pavlichenko.